it was probably 2 o'clock or so in the morning, and Dr. John Colas, who was vice president for Student Affairs at that time, knocked on my door, and I hadn't been too long gone to sleep because, like, I was working with Dr. Henry Harris, who was a local physician, and he was also a local commerce boy. I use that term respectfully. And so Dr. Colas knocked on the door. It was probably 2:30. So I had a drink or two at Dr. Harris's house, and so and then I may have done a little study or something, and so I was pretty tired. And so I answered the door. I said, "God, who could this be at 2 o'clock in the morning?" It was Dr. Colas. He said, "Joseph, can I come in?" I said, "Yes, sir. Come on in, Dr. Colas." And stuff. So he told me, he said, "I wanted to visit with you." He said, "I visit with the president, and there's been a threat made on your life, and we thought it's best that we try to decide something here until we find out what is going on. So if you come with me, I would appreciate it. We'll go to the administration building, and I'll talk with Dr. Halliday some more to see what we're going to do." And so I said, "Well, okay, let me get my composure." So let me get dressed, I think. Not my composure, let me get dressed. And so anyway, I called Sullivan Bryant, who was from Neola, because he was born probably 50 yards, born and raised 50 yards from me. And he's the person on the Senate picture there in the paper. So anyway, so I called him and told him to call my mother and tell her that my life had been threatened, and get even Reverend Bendy, who was a prominent minister, CME minister in my hometown, or Mr. White, who was the agricultural agent. You know, at that time they had still had black agents, ag agents, and white ag agents. And so anyway, so so I told him to do that, and I didn't know what was going on. And then I found on the back of something there where I wrote a note, anticipated that I was going to be killed or something. I've got it in the truck there, and so it just popped up. I wrote on the back of something. I think I told my mother, what they said I loved them, or I don't know what was going to happen. So anyway, so I came over to the administration building, and so Dr. Colas communicated with Dr. Halliday. And so they decided to just get me off campus until they could see what was going on. Of course, later on that day, he was supposed to be responding to our demands, our concerns. And so, anyway, so this campus police, big guy. So we went to Greenville, and they said there wasn't any place I could stay there. They couldn't get a room any place in Greenville, so they took me out. I just noticed when I was coming in, I guess it was Highway Farm FM 1570. That was at that time it was called the Meadowview Hotel, and so we went there and got a room and stuff. And so we went in, and so this guy takes his gun off and his belt off and slams on the bed. Said, "What if we have any problems?" I said, "Well, I'll be able to handle it. You know, whatever I'm going." I didn't sleep at all, and so I was just waiting for some communication and whatever. So I don't know exactly what took place, if he was talking with Dr. Colas and Dr. Halliday. And so at some point in time, we came back to Commerce, and when I got back, the FBI were here. And I understand that Mr. White, who knew some people up in Paris, Texas, that's where his wife was from, I guess he got in touch with the FBI, and so they came from Paris, Texas, to Commerce and stuff. And so I met with them and what cases, and that's another story within itself, that particular meeting. But so anyway, so I guess it's probably about 1 or 2 o'clock by the time I got back to campus, and then the kids still didn't know where I was until I came. I think I emerged from the administration building, and they were kind of gathered and were wondering what was going on and stuff like that. So I kind of assured them at that point everything was that I was okay.
Did you feel safe yet?
Well, I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe, but I had to work with those young folks. It was like they were angry. They were angry, and even the fact that my life had been threatened, and then they didn't know where I was and stuff. And then I guess we were kind of skeptical in terms of the response that we were going to get, because like we didn't go in and take over the administration building. We didn't force a pep rally to end, anything like that, in an attempt to really get attention to what was going on. And so, but we were prepared to do that. So that kind of gets me to, I guess, the point that we were back and then anticipating the meeting that afternoon. But during the course of the discussion with the FBI, there were a couple of agents. They were really more concerned with who was militant and what the case is. I said, well, I don't, there's not anybody that's militant. And what the case is, we're serious about our concerns and wanting to improve things for ourselves and the community, the campus community. And so this one officer told me, agent told me, he said, well, you know, you're real popular on this campus. And he said, you know, it's probably one of your black students that was probably jealous of you and what the case is. And I said, oh, no, that you know, oh, please. And so I thought, oh, no, that wouldn't be the case, you know, and stuff. So, but anyway, and so after we met, and I don't know what they did with information that we talked, but their emphasis was on who was militant, and of course, this is the Times, this is '68, and they would have probably developed dossiers on young folks, and I never checked to see if mine was, but I'm sure it was. You know, I probably can still access it, I'm sure. But anyway, that was the situation there. So anyway, and the thing with that, and I didn't hear any more from them, is that at the end of the week, they wanted me to go home for a few days. And so the people back home in Elder were just, they were just almost hysterical. The FBI called my mother and told her that the reason that my life was threatened was because I was a Black Panther. And of course,
Oh, what'd your mother think of that?
oh God, she just, they knew enough about what was happening to Panthers around the country in terms of the confrontation with police and what the case is, and you know, and these things. So anyway, she was just, she didn't want me to come back to school. To many people in the community said, listen, don't go back up there. We love you. You know, just stay home and go someplace else and finish your degree. But you know, I suppose that was an effort to undermine the stability of my presence here or my influence. You know, if I'm not there, you know, what the case is, then, you know, divide and conquer, you know, stuff like that. So maybe without the leadership of what the case is, you know, well, what are they going to do? You know, this kind of thing. So anyway, so that's pretty much what the situation with the FBI, and when they carried me over to the Meadowview Hotel down 30, and what have you. So yeah, that covers that pretty much.
Yeah, wow.